I've never been more convinced, more 100% convinced than I am now that the appearance is everything. The presentation, the packaging, the personality, the marketing, that's everything. The rest is really immaterial. Everything's a footnote to that. The sales, the showmanship, the packaging. And that's where the phenotype, the personality comes into play. That's where the acting ability, that's where the forgery. And that's where, if you have a genetic advantage, the height, the appearance, the temperament, constitutional factors that either you get from your environment or you can give to yourself via hypnosis, self-hypnosis, self-talk. If you don't have the appearance, if you don't have the showmanship, if you don't have the sales ability, you're going to have to learn to fake it. Dishonesty is not the best policy for you, my friend. It's not rewarded. When you come across your more attractive, potent, virile competitors, that's your TDH. Unless you have a lot of money to compensate and compromise, unless you sugar daddy. I had a buddy of mine a long time ago. This guy had money, old man, and he came into the Starbucks and announced to all the women present, "I am a sugar daddy. Are there any women, college or whatever, here today?" And he was looking for young women, of course. "Are there any women today here that need to be supported? I am a sugar daddy." I have to give the man, this is the old man, credit. He knew his only appeal, his only chance was to come into the room with $100 bills plastered all over himself, in his mouth, and lead with that. The point being, if you don't have that, if you can't come in like a sugar daddy, and you can't buy your way in, then you have to come in on the vulnerabilities, the weaknesses, the rebound of a woman. You have to interview, you have to talk to, you have to hang in. And you have to do the best you can to make sure your preparation is, you bring your A game, your preparation is A1. You've got to be neat from the head to the toe, whatever it takes. That's your ticket in. You have to not call attention to your vulnerabilities, your frailnesses, your weaknesses, in appearance and personality, and particularly the height. You have to watch the hot genital strivings when they're going against you, my friend. And may I say, everything is a consequence, is a footnote to the hot genital strivings. It's as realistic as that, it's as tough as that. That's the chemistry, put on a biological level, urgency level. Now, it's not too pleasant, my friend, to watch everybody getting the real deal sexually, and you have to sublimate. You have to be good sport. You have to turn the cheek. You have to take and say, "Well, what the hell? I could never have gotten that anyway." You bow the knee, you bend the knee and bow the head, don't you? If you don't like that scenario, you better get yourself in the shape of your life. You better build your body rock hard, rock tough. And if you're a short, small man like me, you better build the smallest, hardest, best quality muscle you could possibly build. But it doesn't end there. You better have an inoculation and immunity to discouragement and frustration. Because, buddy, you're going to eat a lot of that. You're going to live on a diet of frustration, discouragement. You're going to make efforts and fall right through your ass on them. And you're going to get up and pick up your cross and start marching again. You're going to have to learn that failure over and over and over again is your best friend. You're going to have to go into the valley of the shadow of the death, your death. That's the negativity. And force that hell while standing in a hot crucible to teach you to give up its lessons to be learned. You failed. You fell through your asshole. Now you say that was a lesson learned. Just what makes that little old land think he'll move rubber tree plant? Anyone knows an ant can't move rubber tree plant, but he has high hopes. He has high hopes. He has high apple pie in the sky hopes. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's only true if you're Tony Robbins, if you're Frank Sinatra. If you're sitting on a lot of material backup. If a little shorty like me with no appearance and no personality comes out with those high hopes, I'll go out feet first. You gotta have to get dogged down and battle for everything. That means you have to be in shape mentally and physically. That means you have to be very street smart, practical, and fair. And you have to have the courage, intestinal fortitude when you're beat. Get out. Admit it. I am overmatched. I'm outclassed. You say it. You call it on yourself before your opponent and the environment forces you, breaks you down to your knees and forces you to call it on yourself. Don't try to bluff your way. You can't pull it off. You're too short. You're too ugly. You have no personality. You have no salesmanship, like I said at the beginning of this talk. You won't sell a bluff. You have to be the real deal or nothing. That requires down, hard preparation and intestinal fortitude. Practice, practice, practice. Go back to the drawing board. And your life is one drawing board after another. You gotta go back to the drawing board. You got beat. You got beat bad. You're go back to the drawing boards and pick yourself up and start all over again. And I don't mean this in a Pollyanna, Tony Robbins bullshit sense. This is not a phony breakthrough. This is your life, pal. You're on pillory. That's why I love the great comedian Benny Hill. He had a wonderful scene, which I'll never forget. They put Benny, the great English comedian, in pillory. Now, Benny's a short, ugly man like me. He's got a fat belly. And all the pretty boys were getting all the women. And the women were fornicating and doing quote-unquote lewd, lascivious acts in front of Benny Hill, who was in pillory. And of course, everybody likes to take the moral high ground. Everybody has tolerance rigidities, and when those tolerance rigidities harden up and they take the moral high ground, the stupidity rises in direct proportion to the intolerance, and the high ground morality uprises the stupidity in judgment and condemnation. And what do? They're doing all kinds of socially, quote-unquote, lewd, lascivious conduct. From the Emily Post, Victorian era or bullshit high moral ground judgment by those who are in a position to judge because they have the political power, the reality, and yet they're doing the same thing behind the scenes. But they cover it. Benny's in pillory, and everybody's laughing at Benny Hill, and they're blaming Benny Hill, you nasty, nasty, dirty, perverted, stupid little man, you ugly little man, you troll, you maggot. He hasn't done, get this, he's in pillory, man. He hasn't done anything. They're the ones who are doing everything. But to avoid the judgment and to take the moral high ground and to be self-righteous, they blame it on Benny Hill in pillory. The visual's excellent. Let the discussion begin.